Well, welcome along everybody then to the final race of Season 4, our first season in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. It's time to face the music then. Final race in Phoenix, race 11 of 11. And we're currently 3 points ahead of Ruiz in 6th. And a full 11 points clear of MRT in 7th. As long as we beat MRT, then we get our season objective of 6th. But, of course, we're going to push as hard as we can to keep that 5th place. All in all, I mean, we'll do a little wrap up at the end, of course. Also depends on how it goes. But all in all, it's been a great opening season. Obviously, that 1-2 in the opening race was beyond our wildest dreams. And, quite frankly, a complete shock that just set up our season perfectly. I think nearly all our points were scored in that opening race. But let's get on with today. First off, decision for you guys to make. Well, to help me make, I guess. We've got two options to replace Dreyfus next year. So the first is Alejandro Moreno. He's quite experienced, but he's got great marketability. He's a half-decent driver, and he shouldn't cost too much. I would hope to get him for a little bit less than the $500,000 per race that he's costing his current team. The idea here would be to get in just a decent driver that will bring in good sponsors to do a pretty decent job until we can get Tom Munro into the car. Munro is a great driver, has the potential to be a good driver. He's the right age, he's nice and cheap, he's very marketable, but he is probably not ready yet. But we can stick him in the car because it'll improve quicker, and will obviously incur a lot less on the financial side of things. So that's the choice, either Munro or the driver. They're so similar, I keep forgetting their names. Or Moreno. So let me know in the comments what you guys think we should do, which of the two drivers we should get for Dreyfus. But let's get on. All concentration needs to be on the final race of the season today. And in all honesty, it's probably out of our hands. I don't think there's anything we can do. It's incredibly unlikely that we're going to be getting any points in this race. So it's going to be all about what the two teams behind us do in terms of results. So, of course, we will continue to improve the car. We won't build any new parts now. Obviously, we stopped that last race with the end of the season being so close. And the car's looking pretty good, to be honest. Just some performance to gain here and there. Phoenix is very crucial on top speed and high speed corners. So the rear wing's going to be useful, and the engine's going to be useful. Of course, we can't do anything with the engine, so we'll keep the performance on those rear wings. We'll keep bringing the reliability up of that suspension, and then hopefully we'll be able to put that on the car. And I'm pretty happy to keep improving the performance of the brakes. I don't think there's any need to change it to front ring, really. So we got sponsors offers, but as I said, we're going to wait till the beginning of next season to do that, because then Dreyfus will be replaced, and then hopefully we'll have better sponsors available in those slots. I'm hoping that's the way it works. I'm hoping it refreshes the sponsors if we become more marketable. If not, we're wasting a little bit of money. But hey, look, we're going to have 2 slots to fill at the beginning of next season, so hopefully we'll get some nice higher rate sponsor offers, and then we got more money to spend on the car. So, as you guys would have seen by now in the GT series, I'm thinking about calling it a day on that. You would have probably already have made comments if you've watched it, but if you haven't, go and watch that and leave me constructive criticism if you think it's worth continuing with that series. It's definitely been a lot tougher than this, and create a team is really difficult. But then it did say it was challenging. I can't say it didn't warm me. Right. Pit stop practice is going to cost us $500,000. Mechanic pit stop stat +2. I can't really spare that money right now. It would be pretty useful. There's always an outside chance we might change the mechanics next year as well, so I'm not going to spend it at this point. Alright, let's just get a little update on scouting. I think we just had a report back on Annie Capes. Fairly good driver, unemployed, and okay marketability. Some of that is due to being caught speeding, which for some reason makes them more marketable. It would make them more popular maybe, but I don't think sponsors would be too keen on it. Someone, oh, they got caught speeding, really? Oh, well, they can come and do our drink driving thing for Johnny Walker. It's not really how it works, is it? But potential, half decent driver, unemployed, probably not going to cost much at all, and fairly marketable. That might be another option instead of Munro, or Moreno. We'll have to see. Lots of sponsor offers now. I'm pretty sure they're all 3 stars. I'm hoping we can get some 4-star sponsors this year, so I will let that run over. Oh, and I was just going to check quickly how we're getting on with the car. Right, I don't really need to improve the reliability of those brakes anymore. That suspension is going to be ready, which is good news. We'll just raise one of the gearboxes a bit, I suppose. We'll go 10-10. To be honest, all reliability looks pretty good, so I'll probably put more towards performance just to ensure we get every little bit out of the car, just in case we can somehow race for points in Phoenix. It's unlikely, but we never know. Right. I think that's everything. So we can get going with our final race then. We'll go 13th or above. I don't think we're going to get 9th with the car. We haven't made too many changes, although we are fitting those new suspension parts, but it's not going to drastically change the car, is it? We will continue to give Eka the better car, the better parts. She definitely seems to be the better driver at this point. Just check that is the case all the way through. Yeah, that does make Dreyfus a little bit angry, so we don't want to put her off too much. Everything's in good shape, really. Now, of course, we've been doing that little bit of weight saving. I don't think I'm going to do that this time. Just make sure the car's reliable as possible. When we bring it down to 80%, we do seem to still encounter some reliability issues. So, or they wear a little bit quicker than normal. This is a flat-out circuit as well, so the engine is going to take a lot of wear, and being able to push it even harder is going to be probably more useful than the performance gained from the weight stripping. So I think we'll leave it as such, but I shall get practice done, and then we shall go straight on to the final qualifying of the season. Okay, we're into qualifying then. This race has been a bit of a disaster in the past. The oval, when you're down the back of the field, is horrible for blue flags. If you're down the back of the field, you're constantly just having to let cars through after about the first 8 to 10 laps of the race. So hopefully we can be vaguely competitive and stay out of that this time. Eka, once again, I think it's 3 races in a row, has 99% on the setup. This perfect setup still completely eludes me. I do believe people that have said they've had it, but at the same time, I don't really. Is it really possible? As Eka crosses the line with a 45.9 and Dreyfus crosses with a 45.8, which is interesting because Dreyfus actually got 91% set up. Had a few issues with her in practice. Did make a couple of tweaks just before qualifying that hopefully have boosted that back up. So that may be why she's more competitive than I thought she'd be. But still, it's not the best lap from Eka. We are still right down the back of the field though, as we would expect. Might even have time for 3 runs here, to be honest. And we got so many tyres, I don't really see any problem with doing that. Let's see if we improve Dreyfus' setup. Yeah, so it went from 91 to 97 with those tweaks. So that is the reason why she's more competitive than I thought. But still, Eka has the better car. So I would expect her to do slightly better. But we're certainly seeing at the moment just how far off we are. Almost half a second away from anybody else, and I just can't put my finger on why we've dropped back so much over the end of the season. Eka does improve to 45.8 Dreyfus doesn't improve and does a 46.0. So that seems to be about the pace of our car, about 4 tenths off. And again, we've developed pretty quickly. I can't really imagine us developing much quicker this season. So I'm very surprised we're down the back, and very grateful that we got so many points early in the season. Otherwise this would be a disaster. But we'll go out again. We'll do 3 runs. Probably should have waited a little bit later to do that run when the track grip was a bit better. But I mean, when we're 4 tenths off, I really don't think we're going to be seeing any massive improvements at this point. But we'll give it another go anyway. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how we read the strategy. You want to stay out of the traffic of the leaders. You can just get into a horrible blue flag sort of concertina, sort of domino effect even. You're just constantly letting people through. Happened a few seasons ago. There's improvement from both, by the way. They do 45.6 and 45.8. So a big improvement from Eka. It's still 3 tenths off Moreno in 18th though. And everybody has finished. So it's 19th and 20th again. Really struggling here. And this is what's surprising, is this track is all about top speed. And the engines are standard for the championship. So you wouldn't think we'd be that far off. I guess it's our front and rear wings, suspension, other stuff does have a bearing on an oval, I guess. But it's still a little bit disappointing. But as we know, this is all about just random luck, really, as to whether we get 5th or 6th. I'm pretty confident MRT and 7th aren't going to get 11 points in this race. If they do, it will be incredibly unlucky. So I think 6th is secure. We will go with race trim and engine expert, because the engine's going to be pretty important here. And I think we'll start both cars on the... no, let's split it. We'll go soft tyres with Eka and medium with Dreyfus. Dreyfus's last race for the team as well. I think she's been here since the 2nd season, I want to say. She might have even been here from the beginning. I can't quite remember that far back. No, I think it's from season 2. So this is her 3rd season with the team. Right, soft tyres we're expecting 10 to 12 laps. We'll put 13 in so we can push from the beginning. Dreyfus, as I said, will go with medium tyres, which probably, what, about 16? 15 to 13 to 15, so we'll put 16 in. Okay. Yeah, and whether we take 5th place is just going to be complete luck, really, as to whether the team ahead of us, behind us, actually score any points. Top 6, let's not forget to get points in this. So we're underway then for our final race of Season 4 and Season 1 in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. And it's been a pretty horrible season towards the end, but as I say, that 1-2 will always be remembered in our first ever race. No one expected that. Sparks flying off the cars here. I don't see that too often. And yeah, it's just, I just hope both drivers see the finish. Nothing strange happens. Let's go up to 3 speed. And we'll see what they do. I could keep an eye on what the other teams are doing. To be honest, I'm not bothered. It's not something we can influence. Unless we're up in the points, it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. So if we somehow manage to get some points at some point, then maybe I will take a look. But at the moment then, Eka making great progress up to 12th. Dreyfus at the head of the medium tyre runners as well, which is good for her. Showing good pace as well. I'm probably going to go back to neutral on Eka's tyres. And just push on Dreyfus's. So make sure they don't overheat. Dreyfus should be able to push a lot harder in this race because of our engine buff. But, I mean, engine's at 96, gearbox at 82. So I'm hoping we can push pretty hard for the whole of this race in terms of fuel. It's always a law of diminishing returns, really, with fuel. The more you put on, obviously, the slower you are per lap and the more time it takes to refuel. But at the same time, obviously you're going quicker by using a higher engine mode. So it's never quite sure what it does really. We're going to bring in Eka this lap. I had a real problem recently of just pitting too late. So we're going to try and pit nice and early in each race, in each stint this time. Car looking fine. Put the medium tyres on and a bit more fuel. And we'll see if she can undercut anybody. We'll push out of the pits. This is the problem here with an oval as well. You trying to do an undercut, you're immediately coming back out in front of the rest of the field. We're going to pit Dreyfus this time. I can't believe the mediums haven't lasted any longer than that, to be fair. Maybe I pushed a bit too hard on them. We will try the mediums again and just see what happens. And we'll push again out of the pits with high engine mode. But that's the problem. You feed yourself right back into the blue flags because it's such a short lap. But it looks like Eka has avoided most of it. But we'll see, obviously, when Dreyfus comes out the pits. So Dreyfus does come out nicely ahead. So a little bit of time lost from Eka. And we haven't really jumped anybody at the moment. We might jump a car here. Nope. I don't know what it is. Every time we pit in this championship, this season, we go to the back. No matter where we are in the field. Dreyfus was like 12th. And she's got one position there. There's 4 cars still to pit. So we'll see if we go past any of them. Tyre temp's looking okay. Okay, she does get 1 up to 17th. Even so, we just seem to go backwards every time we pit. Whether it's our pit crew, just losing us that little bit of time that's putting us back. Because it is very close from 12th to the back, to be fair. It's just a few seconds, so if we do lose a couple of seconds in the pit stops, that might be why it's happening consistently. It is a bit annoying. But we're just struggling with tyre life again. We are probably pushing them a little too hard. We'll go back to neutral. Just check the engine and everything. Eka's engine wearing a bit quickly, so we'll probably go to medium. Dreyfus is holding up a lot better, obviously, with that buff, so we can keep pushing with her throughout the race, hopefully. But Eka needs to stop again already. I do wonder if we're accidentally going to do one more stop than we need to here. But she is starting to catch Dreyfus. She's closed up that little gap between the two of them. So she does seem to have a bit better pace. We'll do one more with Eka and then we'll pit again. We'll go on to softs this time and see if they last any different. Maybe the soft tyres are a little bit better. If it's only 8 to 10 laps, if it's only a 2-lap difference, it's probably worth sticking the softs on for the pace advantage. We'll try it with Eka this time and see how she does. As I say, it's very similar to the GT series, but a little bit more competitive. Just the back end of this season has shown our cars true pace, and it's quite shocking, really. But we know there's nothing we can do. There's Eka back out into traffic again, unfortunately. Looks like she's going to avoid most of the blue flags. We're going to have to now pit Dreyfus. He's only managed 10 laps out of those mediums. She's only getting 10 laps out of the mediums. Such a problem. I think that estimated is a total 100%. Because there's still 20% left, which probably is another 2-3 laps. But you'll be so slow that there's not much point. We're going to go on soft tyres with her as well. And then hopefully we can just do one more stop for the mediums at the end. Depends how well these soft tyres last, really. She's going to come in and we'll see where she comes out in terms of Eka, as to whether the undercut has made any effect this time. It looks like none at all. Eka just behind. So she might have come out ahead, but she's been obviously struggling with these blue flags. You can see here she's trying to overtake Kanjiro in 5th. But every time she does, she has to let him back past because of blue flags, which is a bit of a problem. But 18th and 19th then, Diostra has made 3 stops. Obviously a few problems for him or her. So we're going to get 16th now, because Diostra was obviously ahead of us. So 16th and 17th. Still potentially in the running all the way up to 12th. So we could have our best race for a little while here, if we get the strategy correct. And if these tyres last long enough. They're not heating up very well, so we're going to push a little bit. Which is strange, because the temperature hasn't dropped at all. And they were warming up just fine before, but obviously something's changed. I do wonder sometimes if that is a random game mechanic. Just so that you've got something to play with during the race. Because temperature hasn't changed at all. They're doing the same lap times on a stickier tyre than the medium tyre. And it's still struggling for warm-up. It's very bizarre. Right, Eka needs to pit again already. Just 8 laps out of those soft tyres. And we're not going to be able to go to the end. And because we did so many stints in qualifying, we actually don't have enough soft tyres to do 2 stints on them. So we're going to have to put the mediums on again. I'm going to fuel it up to the end just in case we can somehow coax some life out of these mediums. But I think we're going to have to make an extra stop with Eka, unfortunately. And Dreyfus is pretty close to that mark as well. We probably should have done 2 stints on the mediums at the end. But again, our tyre wear is so much worse than everybody else. And we've kept it in the working zone, so it's got to be our car. Dreyfus has done 1 more lap than we really wanted her to do there. So she's going to struggle this time around. Again, we'll fuel her up and hope that she can get to the end. But again, unlikely. She's going to be losing time all the way around the rest of this lap. Luckily, not too many corners. Although, on that one long corner, she still loses a massive amount of time. I would expect her maybe to come out behind Eka this time then. No, just ahead again. It's those blue flags. Undercut cannot work with blue flags. Because you constantly any advantage you get, you're letting back. By letting people through. Which is a shame. Alright, we're pushing with both drivers. Going to try neutral for a couple of laps and just see if it sticks at the working range. If not, then we'll have to go back to push. It's got to be our car. It's definitely something we need to work on for next year then. When we're designing our car for next year. We've got to concentrate on tyre wear. Because this has killed us towards the end of this season. I think we could have had some half decent results. Especially some top 10 results. Which I don't think we've had for 4 or 5 races now. But we definitely could have raced for some top 10s if we didn't constantly have to pit for tyres early. It's just not allowing us any flexibility in the strategy, and it, in most cases, actually losing us a stop. So Diostra's caught us back up. Moreno and Mikhailovic are behind. So I do wonder if they've maybe had an issue because they've done the same amount of stops as us. So we are losing tyre temps, so we need to go back up to push. I think Dreyfus will definitely get to the end. Eka is really going to struggle. I might just have to pit Eka again. 5 laps to go. Have we been lapped? We have been lapped. So we don't have to do the full 5 laps, it's just 4 laps, but Eka's going to be so slow by the end. Dreyfus losing positions now because of tyre wear. Blue flags as well. Oh, it's a nightmare, it really is. Oh, we may as well just bring Eka in, there's nothing really to lose at this point. We may as well put some soft tyres on. They'll be a bit quicker, I think. Will they? Speed, 2.5 stars. Yeah, even the worn softs are going to be a bit better. Got plenty of fuel. Oh, what a disastrous race. Dreyfus should be okay to the end. I'm not going to pit her anyway. She's down the back anyway. What's the point? Eka will come back out and just high and push till the end. And 2 laps to go, so that means... Actually, no, we're a lap down. That's 2 laps to go for the leader, so we will still have to do 2 laps. Dreyfus is out of tyres. May as well pit her at this point. I don't care. 0 laps remaining after stop. Okay, we'll just go then. We'll carry on to the end. A few 4 stops, mostly 3 stops. And we cross the line. Dreyfus is just going to get over the line because everybody else was lapped twice. So she had no more positions to lose, but it's 18th and 20th. It's a complete and utter disaster for our final race of the season. But that's not the question we're asking. The question we're asking is, how did our rivals do? And have we taken that 5th place? Because I thought 6th was going to be a tough order this season. And we may have got 5th. We'll have to see. So Eka finishes the championship 7th. Obviously that race win really proving most of those points. Not too far short of 6th with Kanjiro. And then the top 5, I presume, have probably been in the points almost every race. They're a long way clear. And Dreyfus is 2nd place, and another couple of points somewhere else means that she is 11th in the championship. So all in all, a pretty good season for those two. You wouldn't have thought it from the last few races, but let's find out, shall we? It is 5th. Ruiz Motorsport could add nothing to their total, and it means that, incredibly, we finished 5th, having not scored a point since about the midway point of the season. And we were only 3 points behind Kirov in 4th. So 5th is an incredible result. It really is. And it means that we've smashed our target, really, of 6th place. And I thought, as I said, we were going to really struggle to get that. But as it turns out, we should have been aiming higher. So Dreyfus bows out with a 20th place, unfortunately. She will be on her way next time. For next season, sorry. So, again, keep that help and advice coming in as to whether we think it should be Munro or Monroe. I still think I've got that name wrong again, as we lose another huge chunk of money. Again, that's a bit of a problem. Jeremy Woodford is injured, but he still takes the championship, and Chariot Motor Group take the Constructors' Championship as well for 2019. Congratulations to them. And yeah, we finished 5th, which is a great result. It really is. I'm going to make a post-it note or something with this guy's name, because it's getting ridiculous that I keep forgetting it. Moreno and Monroe. They're your 2 choices for next year, I think. So let me know which one you guys think we should put in the cart. As always, I'll wait a couple of days till after this episode goes out to record the pre-season for next year. That way you can get your help and advice in. Let me know what areas of the car we should be concentrating on to improve tyre wear. I'm sure it will tell me, but just give you help and advice on how we should design next year's car as well. And that's going to be it from a really surprising season in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. We're already race winners in this championship. And hopefully we can push on next season. I think we've got a good base of the car. If we bring in better sponsors and a better driver, it won't necessarily be a better driver than Dreyfus, just someone that brings in more money for around about the same talent. Eka has still got a lot of room to improve, so I would still expect her to be our #1 driver next year. But I'm feeling good that we can make some progress up the division next season. So, as always, thank you so much for watching this season, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're still enjoying this series. Do hit that like button if you do. It just lets me know. Last time I mentioned this, I got a bunch of likes, which the previous episodes didn't get, so that's appreciated. I know you guys are still watching it and still enjoying it, so it means the world. And if you are new to the channel, you can obviously go back and watch this ridiculously long series. It's getting crazy now. So many hours from the beginning, and you can hit that subscribe button as well. Join me for some live streams and some goofs and gaffs in F1 2017 and Project Cars. And as always, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you again next time.